Nebuchadnezzar was the mighty king of Babylon. His kingdom was great, and he had great power. But sometimes his power went to his head. One day, he was at home in his palace. He decided to take a nap, but as he slept, he had a dream that scared him. When Nebuchadnezzar woke up, he gathered all the wise men of Babylon to tell him what the dream meant. Although the finest magicians, enchanters, fortune tellers, and astrologers came to the palace to help, none could tell the king what his dream meant. Then Daniel showed up. Daniel asked how he could help, and the king told him how he had such a bad dream that he was really scared. So Daniel asked him what the dream was about. The king told his dream to Daniel. He said, first, there was a tree, a really big tree, that grew all the way to heaven. It was a mighty tree, and everyone from all around could see it. Not only was it big, it was beautiful, and it bore so much delicious fruit that it could feed literally everyone. Animals enjoyed relaxing in the shade of the great tree, and the birds enjoyed living in the tree's branches. And then a messenger from heaven appeared in my dream. He spoke, but his message was weird. He said, "Chop down the mighty tree, lop off its branches, and scatter its fruit. Chase away all the animals and birds, leave only the stump and roots behind. Around the stump will be an iron and bronze strap. Let him be soaked with the dew from heaven, and let him eat with animals that graze on the grass. He will lose his mind and start living and thinking like an animal. He will stay this way for 7 years. The purpose of all this is to make it clear that the Most High rules everything and everyone. Not only that, but God can choose whoever he wants to rule earthly kingdoms." When he had finished telling Daniel the dream, Nebuchadnezzar said, "Please tell me what this scary dream means. Nobody else can do it, but I know you can because the spirit of the holy gods is in you." But now Daniel became frightened because he immediately realized that the dream meant that bad things were coming for the king. So he said to the king, "I wish this dream was about your enemies, but unfortunately it's about you. That mighty tree you saw in your dream, well, that's you. You have become mighty and strong with greatness that reaches to the sky and sovereign rule that stretches to the 4 corners of the world. But the rest of the dream is about you too. Just as the mighty tree will be chopped down, your rule will abruptly end. You will be soaked with heaven's dew. You will live with the animals and eat grass just like a grazing cow. And you're going to stay like this for 7 years, long enough to fully realize that God on high is sovereign. He is greater than you. But just as the stump of the tree remained, your kingdom will be waiting for you. You can have it back once you fully realize that heaven rules all. My advice to you is to change your ways, stop sinning, and instead live by God's ways. Break from your wicked past and show mercy to the poor. Perhaps then you will continue to prosper." As it turned out, all that Daniel told Nebuchadnezzar came to pass. 12 months later, he was taking a walk on the roof of his palace in Babylon. He gazed at the city and proudly said, "Look at this great city of Babylon. I, with my mighty power, made this city as a royal residence to display my majestic splendor." God had heard enough. A voice from heaven said,
"Listen up, King Nebuchadnezzar. You're no longer in charge here. Instead, you will spend 7 years living with the animals and eating grass like a cow. Maybe by then you will learn that the Most High rules over the kingdoms of the world and gives them to anyone he chooses.
So Nebuchadnezzar spent 7 miserable years eating grass like cows and getting drenched by the dew of heaven. By the time the 7 years were up, his hair was as long as eagle's feathers, and his nails looked like bird's claws. But the king finally came to his senses. He realized that God was truly sovereign, and he praised and worshiped him. And when his sanity returned, so did his kingdom. Praising God, the king said, "I praise, glorify, and honor the King of heaven. Everything he does is just and true, and he is able to humble those who are proud."